So, welcome to my 2022 NFL season predictions. I am back fully balls deep in this bitch. It's your boy Butch Coolidge, and we're going to talk about every single NFL team. It is August 31st. It's almost 11 p.m. So, we're about more or less 8 days from kickoff with Bills-Rams, which, frankly, is a Super Bowl preview. I know Stafford's got that fucked arm, but there hasn't really been much news about it recently. So presumably he's fine. But without further ado, let's go team by team in alphabetical order, which I know off the top of my head. I mean, I got nothing here. Arizona Cardinals. So pretty much what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at each team and I don't know, not necessarily a record prediction. I guess I'll give some wins here and there, but just a general idea or outlook of how these teams are going to go or play, what have you. So the Arizona Cardinals, I think we've seen enough of Cliff Kingsbury at this point. He knows how to run an offense, but every single year it seems his team just falls apart at the end. I don't see why that would change this year. You don't have DeAndre for 6 games. They're going to start tough. They might start 2-4, if 3-3. But I expect them to be 500 or worse in the non-DeAndre games. And their schedule's not that easy. They play the AFC West. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. But I do know their division only has one shit team in it, so there's less easy wins there. They were a second-place team last year, so they have that going for them. It doesn't really mean much. That just means they play the Vikings and the Saints and the Eagles. Well, the Eagles, we'll get to the Eagles, obviously. But yeah, the Cardinals, around 500, they should push for that bullshit 7 spot. I don't like them that much this year. But yeah, Atlanta Falcons. So there's this thing I have. There's 5 NFL tiers. You got the elite of the elite at the top, right? And then you get to tier 2, and it's they're good, not great. Not quite Super Bowl contenders, but, they're decent. 3 is just straight average. They're not good, they're not bad. They're not, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. These are your 8-8, 9-8 teams around that range. Then tier 4 is below that, which is, below average. And then tier 5 is the worst of the worst. That could be 2 teams, that could be 8. Because I think there's a lot of real shit teams this year. And there's not many, in between average and shit. We'll see. I haven't really, I haven't made the tiers in a while, but anyway, there's 5 of those. Cardinals are in tier 3. And this isn't necessarily just as of now. This is as the season ends. This is the end of season tiers. But obviously, it's also these fluctuate throughout the season. We had the podcast I would go on, not every week, but here and there I'd give a tier update if a team's been playing good or bad. Couple upsets, couple letdowns, what have you. But Cardinals are tier 3. Then you get to the Falcons. And, at first I thought they were going to be really ass cheeks. Theoretically, they should be. Their defense is still really, really bad. Can you name a single Falcon on defense? Yeah, they have a good corner. His name, Falcons Corner. That's really all you need to know. They have nobody but him and Grady Jarrett. They're bad on defense, and they don't have a quarterback. Cool, they got Desmond Ridder. Is he going to be, that much better than Marcus Mariota or, than any other quarterback? Probably not. I was not high on any of these quarterbacks going in. As a matter of fact, I bet that under 2.5 QBs would be selected in the first round because they're not even. If you take this crop of then there's a reason only one of them, and Pickett, oof, what a terrible pick. He should not have gone that high. He's not that good, okay? You take this group of quarterbacks and compare them to last year, Justin, Trevor. I don't like Zach Wilson that much, but he's probably better than these clowns. Trey Lance, who fantasy-wise for me is going to really bust a nut this year. Like, I'm targeting him in every single draft possible. He's like the new Lamar. They're gonna run the shit out of the ball, and he doesn't even need to be, that great of a downfield passer because they got run after catch galore. Kittle can run after catch. Obviously, Debo, Ayuk can do the same thing. They got good running backs. Trey Lance is the guy, and he's gonna run a fuck ton. But we'll get to the Niners. But yeah, the Falcons, not great. Quarterback situation, not great. If they were really smart, now that they got Ryan Pace, there's that dumb fuck with all the Bears rejects there. If they were smart, they should be really bad on purpose, or whatever the Jets typically would do, Jaguars, whatever, and try and get Stroud or Bryce. Well, I don't think those guys are as good as Trevor and Justin either, but some will pop here and there. Anyway, Falcons I was tier 5. Because I kind of want to put them at like some weird 7 and 10 type shit, but no. They're tier 5. Let's leave it at that. Baltimore Ravens. This is one of my teams to watch this year because we all know that they were ass raped by injuries last year. Like, come on. Those weren't the real Ravens. We know this team is a regular season juggernaut. Okay? They're going to win a piss ton of games. Probably like 12 or 13. They should win the division. Like, they should have won the division last year with all those fucking injuries. If Lamar was healthy, they definitely would have. But you could tell, like, they were not the same. Their secondary was garbage. They were missing Peters and Humphrey and probably another guy. Their defense is low-key loaded. Obviously, they don't have receivers, but have they ever really needed receivers? No. They have Rashad Bateman, and he's fucking nice. And that's pretty much all they need. They got Mark Andrews. It really doesn't matter. I could be running back in their fucking offense and be okay. So, if their line holds up, which typically it's, solid at best, not very garbage at worst, then they'll win a piss ton of games. Because they've been a juggernaut because they have a great game plan. You run the piss out of the ball, and you play defense. And, I mean, you saw it in that Titans playoff game when they were the best team in the league that year. If you rely on Lamar to, not necessarily have a comeback passing game-wise, he's done it here and there. But if you're relying on his arm, not that he's not a good quarterback, I don't think they have the weapons to be able to do that. They got 2 good pass catchers, but you got to be stretching the field. But, you got to respect his legs, too. So they're going to win a lot of games. They're definitely tier 1 for me. It shouldn't really be a shock either. Like, come on. It's the same structure of the team that was a 14-2 and then won a playoff game the next year. And they would have been really good last year if they didn't have 90 guys on the IR. So, having said that, we go to another tier 1 team, and that's the Buffalo Bills. Wow, this is 8 minutes long. This is going to take forever. Buffalo Bills, obviously, tier 1. Personally, I have them winning the Super Bowl as of now. They had one of the best defenses in the league. Von Miller pickup was just unfair. And then, of course, their offense. I'd like to see a lot more from their run game, that's for sure. Dable's gone. Maybe that changes things. But tier 1 for sure. As of now, my Super Bowl favorites, just like Vegas. And there's a reason for that. They're really fucking good. Shout out Thump Sr. Tom. After Buffalo's Carolina, look, they had Sam Darnold, and then they got Baker Mayfield. Is that big of an upgrade? Not really, but it is something. Tier 4. Darnold was tier 5, but now they're definitely tier 4 for sure. Now we go to the Chicago Bears. See, they are everybody's least favorite team this year for whatever reason. All right, you got Matt Nagy, the worst fucking coaching staff in the league, completely undisciplined team, identityless team. They get rid of that dumpster fire. They get rid of Ryan Pace. This is the most competent their front office and coaching staff has been in a very long time, and they haven't even played a fucking game. You can just tell. They're not going to be as bad as people think. Obviously, they're not some world-beating fucking team. They will be at some point this decade. But Justin is the guy. People think they're tier 5, like bottom 3 team in the league. I think that's asinine. They were 6-11 last year. Should have been 7-10. We all saw that bullshit in Pittsburgh. We were watching. That was horseshit. I think they're going to be tier 3. Like 7 7. I just don't see them being worse than last year. With the cupcake schedule that they have, they got the Falcons, Giants, Jets, Texans, Lions. Foreskins are going to be bad. I don't know, dude. I just don't see them being some awful fucking team. They're tier 4 at worst. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I haven't been wrong about the Bears in a long time. Since 2019. Fuck that season. Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, you got the whole Super Bowl hangover storyline. No, they've only upgraded. They should be competing for the division, if not the AFC crown. But they would definitely like to win that division for a home playoff game. Not that it really mattered last year. But their offense reminds me of the 2013 Broncos, where Peyton Manning had slung that bitch better than anybody's ever slung it. In 2013, we had like 1 million touchdowns. That whole offense was fantasy relevant. It was like a top 5 QB, top 10 RB, 3 top 25 wide receivers, and I think top 5 tight end. Tight end's not going to be relevant. Hayden Hurst, fuck him. But the Bengals offense is definitely sexy, and it reminds me of that Broncos team. Tier 1 for sure. I don't know what the deal is with Jesse Bates, but tier 1 regardless. They have a decent pass rush, and their offensive line, way better. Cleveland Browns, if they had Deshaun, this would be a way different discussion. Supposing we had Deshaun Watson, we're looking at Deshaun Watson here, I would say one of the best teams in the league, period. But we're not. He's missing 11 fucking games. It's probably a tier 3 team. They have an okay defense and an okay run game, but let's be real, Jacoby Brissett's a bum. Who knows if Josh Dobbs will play? I suspect he will. It's not going to change much. Their offense is going to be pretty weak till Deshaun comes back week 12 against the Houston Texans. Anyway, the Dallas Cowboys, no NFC East champion has repeated as champion since like 2003. Something stupid, maybe 05. And even regardless, if that wasn't true, the Cowboys wouldn't be doing shit. This will be Mike McCarthy's last year coaching this fucking team, because he's a bum too. Cowboys, tier 3. They're very much a meh. That's tier 3, meh. They're a meh team. I don't see them doing much. Their defense is not as good as people think. Micah Parsons is nice. Trayvon Diggs is not. That dude sucks. My grandmother could burn that fucking guy. I mean, my goodness. Sure, he gets hella interceptions. Congrats. You give up 2,000 yards in the air. Fuck you. He stinks. Tier 3. Denver Broncos. This is see, here's the thing. The NFL has nothing but new teams. Well, not nothing, but half the fucking league is a new team. And by new, I mean either A, new quarterback, B, new coach / front office, whatever, or C, the addition or subtraction of a big pass catcher. So that would mean, the Broncos, for example, are the newest team, new coach and quarterback. And as of now, I think they're tier 2. They may end up tier 1. The AFC West is just crazy. I'm going to try and watch every single AFC West matchup that I can, regardless if it's intra-division or not. I want to see all those teams play, because it's just nothing but Pro Bowlers on those fucking teams. I mean, even the Raiders, they got Devontae, Chandler Jones this offseason. It's just ridiculous. The Broncos' offense should be fun. Apparently, they're going to let Russ cook, as they say. But yeah, tier 2 for sure. Definitely a fringe playoff team, at least. And then you get the Lions. Everybody's all, especially Lions fans on Twitter, like, oh, you guys are worse than us. How about beat us then? Y'all went 1-7 versus Matt Nagy, and all of a sudden you have a better fucking team. Why? Because you got cool names of rookies. Ooh, you got Jameson Williams. Cool. Oh, you got Aiden Hutchinson. Cool. Guess what? Jared Goff is your fucking quarterback, and he stinks. Where have you been? Tier 5, at best tier 4. They're not better than the Chicago fucking Bears. We're going to beat that ass twice. Because the only time we were able to have an offense was against the fucking Lions. Twice a year, every year, for the past 4 years. And that was Matthew Nagy's offense. Give me a fucking break, dude. Their defense is atrocious, and our quarterback is only better. Like, he couldn't be worse than last year. The Bears are going to be way better than the Lions, period. They're not on the clock bad. They should be better than last year, but come on now. It's the Detroit Lions. It's the same quarterback. It's the same coach. It's the same defense. Come on. All right. And then we get to DEF. We can get to Green Bay. Yeah, Detroit, Green Bay. Listen. Come on. Another new team. You give up Devontae Adams, really, and all of a sudden you're going to be the same elite team. You guys can't even win a fucking playoff. Well, cool, you beat the Rams. You beat the Goff Rams at home. Congrats. You can't beat the Garoppolo Niners at home. Give me a fucking break. Like, this is the worst receiving core Aaron Rodgers has ever had. There's no ifs, ands, or nets about it. Like, come on. He's not going to be the same quarterback, and if he is, they're not going to be the same pass catchers. My prediction for them, I mean, they're not going to be shit. I think they're one of those teams purported as good that won't be as good. They're just not going to be that good. Sure, they'll win 10, 11, 12, but, you know, I don't buy that records show you what kind of team you are. It's how you play. You know, sometimes you win on a game-winning field goal. Sometimes you lose on one. There are definitely games, you know, you deserve to win that you lose, and definitely vice versa. We saw that with Matt Nagy frequently. They won games that they did not deserve to win. Like 2020 Week 1, the Lions game that DeAndre Swift easily dropped the fucking game-winning touchdown. Like, you don't deserve to win that game. And the Packers frequently win a lot of games they don't deserve to win. Aaron Rodgers cares more about throwing less picks than he does about winning one playoff game, and he's going to be visibly frustrated often this year. Tier 2 at best. I mean, yeah, they're going to run the ball a lot more, which is fine, but come on, man. All the playoff teams last year had elite receivers. All of them. And, the Packers got Romeo Doubs. We're going to places. Give me a fucking break. They should win the division, but that's not that much of a feat. Houston Texans. Let's be real, they're ass cheeks, okay? There's no team in 2022 that hires Lovie Smith and thinks they're going to be good, okay? They're tier 5. The Bears are going to whoop them too. There's really, there could not be less to say about the Texans. They're a bad football team, period. Indianapolis Colts. Shout out DPR, Javier Rosado, for this quote. But getting Matt Ryan is like bringing a Nerf gun to Afghanistan. Okay? The Colts have a solid team. You know, they did have the most embarrassing loss in playoff history last year. Most embarrassing loss in NFL history. Yes, last year. Week 18 in Jacksonville. Their fans are showing up wearing clown costumes, and you lose to them. And the playoff berth was on the line. Congrats. Yes, we have their DC now as our head coach, but I don't really care. Carson Wentz was just horrendous all game. Can't really blame the defense for that. Yeah, I mean, the Colts they have a nice floor, but their ceiling is terrible. You win the division, cool. It's like the Packers, kind of. But they have a higher ceiling because of Aaron Rodgers. But even still, no. The Colts could be division champs. I like the tits there, but no. Another meh at tier 3. Tier 2 at best. Low tier 2, but no. There's no such thing as low tier 2 because all the tiers are the same level. So no. Jacksonville Jaguars. This is one of my sleeper teams of the year. Them and the Bears because of their QBs. You know, these guys are NFL players, and you're going to see it at some point. Doug Peterson's now there, known to sling that bitch. Just Carson Wentz, that year he should have won MVP if he didn't get hurt, or would have won. He slung that bitch, and Trevor's better than him. Like, Trevor now is better than Wentz then. Wentz was not the same prospect Trevor was. So the Jags are not tier 5 to me. They should be tier 4. They're with the Bears. They're in the same boat as the Bears, except they have no defense. So After that, we got the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, definitely tier 1. I really don't know what to think of the Tyreek departure, subtraction. Juju comes in, he's no Tyreek, but they still have a lot of guys over there. They don't have a Tyreek guy that's going to, stretch the field exactly like that. I don't know what they're going to look like. But, I'm not one to doubt Patrick Mahomes, that's for sure. He can make something out of dust, So, definitely tier 1. Their defense is pretty solid, frankly. And they should definitely be competing for the AFC crown again. I don't see why not. And after that, you got the Los Angeles Chargers, which are not a new team, but they are a very much improved team. They got Khalil Mack. They got J.C. Jackson. They are a Super Bowl contender through and through with one problem. Their coach is a moron. We saw him multiple times, going for it, blah, 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 that bullshit in the last game. He's an idiot. And that's definitely a problem for them because they have a fucking squad. They have a squad for sure. They definitely have one of the best bitch slingers in the league at quarterback. Got some receivers. Got some running backs. You'd like to see them be able to stop the run before we crown them anything. But they got some pass rushers for show. They got a secondary. And that's pretty much all you need. Obviously, they're the team with the biggest kicker issues in the history of the NFL perennially. I don't think that's going to change, Dustin Hopkins. But, if they get that settled down, they should probably win a lot more games than they've been winning. So, definitely tier 1 for now. You get the Rams. The Rams are pretty much the same team as last year, which was a Super Bowl championship team. So, there's no reason they're not tier 1. I think they're NFC favorites. The only problem is Stafford's arm. Like my arm is kind of fucked right here. I don't know what he has, tendonitis. I don't know what I have, but if he has some bad shit, it's gonna be a problem. But yeah, tier 1 Super Bowl favorite, not favorite, NFC favorites. Then you got the Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders are definitely tier 2. I don't like McDaniels. I never have. Why would you? I don't like Derek Carr, frankly. And I'm known to be a Derek Carr disliker. I think he's a fucking Satanist, ironically. I love the Devontae Adams pickup, but just Derek Carr just rubs me the wrong way. Like having Darren Waller last year and seeing him just not be able to connect with him on a regular basis is all I needed to see. This man is a giant fucking human being and you can't throw the football correctly to him? Problematic. And I think he's way overrated. I do like them though. We'd like to see more improvement from their defense. They have a new coach, probably means a new DC. I know there's special teams guys on the Packers now because they needed it for sure. But yeah, tier 2, definitely. The whole division is automatically a fringe playoff team. I'd like to think there's 4 of those, but then you got to kick out the Bengals or the Ravens. So one of them's not going to make it. We got a long way to go. Dolphins. Brand new fucking team. I think they're the second newest team in the league after the Broncos. But, yeah, I think they're one of those teams that are doomed to, or not doomed, but they're getting a lot of hype, obviously. And I think they're the one team that's going to fail to live up to their expectations or hype. And I don't know if it's a Tua thing or a McDaniel thing. I don't know. I feel like they just won't like him that much because he's a young-ass guy and, obviously McVay's young too, whatever, but I don't know. Something's going to be off there. You can just tell. Tier 3 for now. And you got Minnesota, I believe. And another new team, new coach, new offense. It's Kirk fucking Cousins, though. Everybody thinks he's so... Well, not everybody, but, Vikings fans think he's so good. I don't. I can tell you that. I do not. He's not a Super Bowl quarterback. He can't run, realistically. The pocket collapses. You're fucked, probably. Yeah, but they could win the division for sure. They got some players. Their defense is ass cheeks. That hasn't changed. Probably won't change. But yeah, not a big Vikings guy this year. But I'm never a big Vikings guy. I mean, I can tell when teams are good. I knew the Packers were going to be good last year. They're not going to be that good this year. After Minnesota, we got New England. I'm going to see if I missed any teams after this, but I'm doing this off the top of my head with alphabetical order. Patriots are going to fucking suck. You heard it here first. Suck. Our schedule is ridiculous. Hard. I don't like Mac Jones. Their play callers are either Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, two guys that have no business calling plays for offense. That's stupid. Their defense may be okay, but it's typically overrated. They're a bad football team, and they're going to be maybe 6-11. Like, that's kind of my guess for them. They're not that good. They have a bad offense. Like, let's be real. And you get the New Orleans Saints, and those are one of those teams that are pretty good on paper, but you look at their coach, and he's an idiot. Dennis Allen is really bad. I mean, again, he has a good roster. And then you don't have Drew Brees. You have Jameis Winston. Who knows how good that's going to be? Dennis Allen and Jameis Winston. I expect their defense to be solid, per usual, but the Saints peaked a while ago. They peaked when they lost all those fucking heartbreaking playoff games, like 3 straight. Their peak was when they lost to the Vikings. The second time at home. 2019. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, this team is only going to go downhill, and they have. So, yeah. I don't like the Saints that much. They're in the fucking Vikings and Cowboys meh tier. Definitely tier 3. They're a fringe playoff team because the NFC is just awful. Any of these NFC teams can make the playoffs. That's the crazy part. And sign yourself up. You know, you got a 7 seed for the taking. You know, and that's why I think the Bears have a legit shot, you know, at being the Beanhead 7 team. Because their schedule's awful and they have a game-changer quarterback. And a non-retard at head coach. So, not you, Echo.
Sorry.
Stop. Yeah, so Saints, not great. Good, not great, maybe. And then you got the Jets. I'm going to clump the Jets and the Giants together because they're still a joke. Giants, new team. Jets, not. 2 teams that will forever regret on passing on Justin Fields. Period. Daniel Jones is a nightmare. How do you look at Daniel Jones? He's your quarterback, and you say, "Oh, Justin Fields is available. Should we take him?" Nah, let's give him to the Bears. Okay. Now you have Daniel Jones and a bunch of guys that stink. Really. How much is Brian Dable going to do in year 1? Not much. The Jets are still the Jets. Frankly, they do have a squad. I'll tell you, they got some nice players. It's not there yet. They're all young as fuck. And the rest of the conference is hard as fuck. So those are 2 tier 5 teams for sure. And then you get to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I have one way to describe this team, and it's will win the division in spite of their quarterback. He can run the shit out of the ball. Let me tell you that first and foremost. Either way. He can run. He cannot throw. But they'll still win a bunch of games despite him. They have a booty schedule, booty division, good defense, good players on it. They got A.J. Brown, so that's another new team. Definitely a new team with A.J. Brown. But yeah, I do like the Eagles a lot this year. I just don't like Jalen Hurts, period. Then you get the Steelers, and they're just a joke to me. They're such a joke. You know, just that game last year left a poor taste in my mouth. The way they won that game, Tony Correnti hip-checking into our fucking defensive end after he does nothing and calls a flag. And that wasn't even the worst part. They took away a Fields rollout tossing TD for no reason. But, you know, that's really not the Steelers' fault. You know, they weren't in on the scam. But they're not good. And, you know, it was like, Tomlin's never been under 500. He went 8-8-1 last year and should have been 7-9 because that was just a bullshit win. I don't like Tomlin anymore. I think he's a scrub. He just knows how to run a defense. Cool. His offense is going to suck. Their offensive line is terrible. And their quarterback situation is almost as bad, if not worse. Definitely 500 at best. They're tier 4. At worst, tier 5. Maybe they'll sneak their way into tier 3 like they did last. Like, come on. Trubisky? Pickett? Give me a break. And then you got the S's. PQRS. So the Niners. The Niners are kind of like the Eagles, but I like their quarterback way more. The hope is he transforms the offense from duck arm Jimmy to sling that bitch Trey Lance. And Niners could win this. When the last season ended and Trey Lance was like becoming the guy, I was kind of thinking Bills-Niners Super Bowl. I still might be. It's between Bills-Rams and Bills-Niners, which probably won't be right either way. But Niners are probably my second best team in the NFC. I think they're better than the Bucs. They're better than the Packers. But yeah, I like them a lot. And the fact that the AFC West plays the NFC West is awesome. There's going to be banger games this year, I'm telling you. The interdivision and interconference games are just so nuts. Like Bills-Bengals, that's a fun fucking game. That's just one example of a trillion. Well, like 30, but whatever. Tier 1, Niners. On the other hand, Seattle Seahawks, they're on the fucking clock. You heard it here first. They're just a really bad team. I don't know if Pete Carroll's going to get fired anytime soon, but they're on the clock regardless. Obviously, that means tier 5, but there's no type of way that they're going to do anything good with Geno Smith at quarterback. If he gets benched or not, it doesn't even matter because they have just another scrub waiting in his wings. Like, their defense is bad. Their offense is bad. I mean, they have the best punter in the NFL. Good for them. They're fucked. They're on the clock. They need a new quarterback, and that's the best way to do it. So, Seahawks on the clock. Then you get the Bucs. Obviously, the Bucs are going to be in the mix with that quarterback, but their offensive line has been ravaged with injuries. So, yeah. I don't know, man. They're tier 2 to me right now. They have a weak schedule again. But, I don't know. Todd Bowles is not Bruce Arians. That's a huge difference to me. But they should win the division. If they don't win the division, that's sad, really. Then you got the Tennessee Tits, who some think are just some bad team all of a sudden. No, just because they got new wide receivers, they're bad? I don't think so. They're still going to run the shit out of the ball with, yes, the best running back in the league. Yes, if not McCaffrey. I don't think it's Jonathan Taylor. I think Henry's better. Sue me. And I don't like this idea that he's like a worse option in fantasy than Eckler and whoever else. He's definitely at the very top. He was at the top when he got hurt. Like, what are we missing now? A.J. Brown's gone? Wow. Big fucking deal. They're going to run the piss out of the ball. And they should be a tier 2 team. I don't know why they're worse than last year. I don't. I really don't. And if Tannehill sucks, I'll put him Malik Willis. Who knows how much better that will be? A rookie QB usually doesn't work very well, but it's just another option. Adds another layer to the running game, too. But yeah, tier 2, I think they're my pick to win the AFC South, but my dark horse pick there is the Jaguars, for sure. Not even though they don't have a defense. They just, I don't know, they have an awful schedule, obviously. I guess that's not obvious, but last place schedule, their division's cheeks, like they could do it. But as of now, I like the Titans tier 2. And then, last but not least, the Washington Foreskins, who did not get better, frankly. They got worse, and they got Carson fucking Wentz. If anything, it was a lateral move. He's not good. Like, let's be real. His days of being a quarterback are long over. He'll have his flashes. But I do like Terry McLaurin. I can tell you that much. So, yeah. That's it. Those are my NFL predictions and insight for each team. I'm pretty sure I got every team. Like, I'm not even autistic, and I just fucking did all that by head. But right now, I'll give you playoffs. NFC North, I'll go Packers. NFC East, Eagles. NFC West, let's take the Niners to win the division. The NFC South is Bucks. And you got the Rams. Dude, the NFC is so bad. Any of these teams can make the playoffs because they're all so bad. I don't think the Cowboys are going to the playoffs. But I'll take the Rams, the Bears, 7 seed Bears. Fuck it. Vikings? We'll go Cardinals. Fuck it. Again. But like a 9-8 wild card. Like there's going to be some bad records getting wild cards in the NFC. I can tell you that. And then the AFC, Ravens in the North, Bills in the East, Tits in the South. The West is just, get a 4-sided die or whatever. And there's your champion. But I'll pick the Chefs because fuck it. And as much as I would like to put all 3 AFC West teams as wild cards, one of them's going to miss it. I'm just going to pick the Raiders. Whatever. And the Bengals are in instead. And then the Super Bowl as of now, Bills and somebody. Either Niners or Rams. But I'll go Bills in Super Bowl 57. Tom, your boys are winning the Super Bowl. Butch Coolidge out. Bear down. We're going to take a look at the Bears in specifics pretty soon. But yeah, we are 8 days from kickoff. Let's get it. Actually, no, today is Wednesday. We're 7 days from kickoff because it's Thursday. Let's go. We're back.